everyone, it's Darian. As most of you know, I normally sing on here, but if you're new here, I'm a singer-songwriter from the New England area. I'm gonna be trying something different today that I haven't done a sit-down video for a while on the channel. So I wanted to try to do a monthly favorites video, but with a twist. Instead of talking about beauty, fashion, fitness, all the things I'm gonna be talking about in today's video are going to be about music. And I'm really excited for this because in general, I'm just a girl who really cares about music. I love exploring different avenues in music, different styles, different genres, learning about new ways or techniques of performing and singing, and meeting different kinds of musicians, artists, and singers. So I'm just going to get into it now, but don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, send me your deepest thoughts and emotions, and all that jazz! So going back to the start of February, we had the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, New England was not represented this year since the Patriots weren't there. So as many of you know, this year's halftime show was Shakira and J.Lo. I actually grew up with Shakira's music, specifically her first few albums. And so I've known from a young age that Shakira's a songwriter. And that really showed in like her first few albums for sure. And my mom always talked about when I was little, because she's a really big fan of hers, that Shakira loves poetry and how that really influenced her lyricism a lot. So during the halftime show, I was at a bar with some friends, and when Shakira broke out the guitar, it really made me feel nostalgic, since on her first few albums, there's more of a presence of guitar in the production. And it was really funny seeing all the people there like surprised, like, oh wow, Shakira plays guitar, she plays drums. And I realized that's a part of Shakira and her career that I very much know about, but not a lot of people here are as familiar with. Because I guess in the US, most people know about Shakira, Hips Don't Lie, and Forward, which is totally understandable. So in the month of February, I've really been revisiting those first few albums of Shakira's that I grew up with, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about a few songs that I really feel show her amazing songwriting skills. So the first song I wanted to talk about is Moscas en la Casa, and it's hard to fully capture the beauty of the song by just translating it because it's in Spanish, but it's very poetic in its lyricism. And they have a really beautiful way of capturing this intense heartbreak she felt whenever she wrote it. So I'm looking at the lyrics right now, and the chorus of the song, it like paints the image of this house, this empty house. And it talks about how it's empty of air, filled with nothing but just disposable. How do I say it without it seeming weird? Because it's gonna sound weird in English. Disposable shards, disposable trash. Just, it paints an image of like this empty house that it's just abandoned, empty, depressing. And then the last line is Moscas en la Casa, which translates to flies in the house. So pretty much it's painting her heartbreak, or her state of being through this heartbreak, as like this emptiness, or this empty house with nothing but, full of nothing but disposable things. And I know in Spanish, there's a phrase that people sometimes use that goes something along the lines of, oh, this house is so dirty, or this room is so dirty that flies are gonna get in here. Something like that. So Moscas en la Casa is like the last piece to the image of this house that represents her being completely empty now that this person has left her life. So I've always felt like that's such a beautiful metaphor, even though it's like really sad and tragic, that the lyrics are absolutely amazing and beautiful. And I feel like it's such an underrated song, especially for Shakira. And when I was a kid, it used to always make me cry when I heard it. So yeah, I love it. It's absolutely amazing. I definitely recommend checking it out. So up next we have Illegal featuring Carlos Santana. And the title's a bit misleading. But again, it's a breakup song. But this time I get the idea that there was some unfaithful behavior. But I really think the lyrics to the song, especially the chorus, are really clever. Especially since I feel like when you hear a song called Illegal, you're not gonna necessarily think it's a breakup song, if you know what I mean. But just to share with you some of the lyrics that I like, in the chorus, she sings, "You don't even know the meaning of the words I'm sorry. You said you would love me until you die. As far as I know, you're still alive." So I feel like that's almost funny, but definitely clever. And I just find that like such an interesting lyric. Like, you said you would love me until you die, but yet you're not here anymore. Like, what? And then the last line of the chorus is, "I'm starting to believe it should be illegal to deceive a woman's heart." And again, I just find that really clever. Just how she talks about like this heartbreak as being so horrible. Or not just only the heartbreak, but the idea that she's being deceived by this person who was supposed to, or promised to always be in her life. And now they've gone away to be with someone else. And in that process, like, lied during their relationship. Since again, like I said, there's some like unfaithful behavior implied in the song. So just describing that as like not just being like sinful or a horrible thing to do to someone you love, but it's so horrible it should be illegal. That last line from that chorus is definitely a lyric that's always stayed with me. So the last Shakira song I'm gonna be talking to you guys about today is Your Embrace. And this is off the same album as Illegal, which is also the same album as Hips Don't Lie. And I've always really loved this song, but it's definitely my favorite Shakira song to sing. I don't know if it's because it's a ballad, and it's like sad, but it's not like a depressing breakup song. That it might be about a breakup, but I think another way of reading the song is that she's talking about this relationship between her and someone she's friends with, someone who's very dear to her. But she feels this lack or this emptiness from them not being together, and her desiring for this person to hold her, to love her, and to just truly be with her in a way that she doesn't have him at the moment, or like whenever she wrote the song. That, for example, the song opens with, "Tell me what's the use of a 24-inch waist if you don't touch me. Tell me what's the use again of being on TV every day if you don't watch me." So it just has a really like detailed, descriptive way of just describing that, like, what's the use of doing all these things if this person isn't in my life, or they're not here to witness all these great things or be with me. In the chorus, there's this line, that I've always really loved. That it's definitely my favorite lyric from this song. And it goes, "That without you this place looks like London. It rains every day." And I always thought that was really interesting how she chose to use not only London, but like the idea that it always rains in London, and like compared that, her heartache of this person not being there, and just painting this image of her like crying and being filled with utter sadness. Maybe it's just me, but like, who would have thought to compare rainy London to like a heartbroken person crying? That overall, that's something I really love about Shakira's lyricism, is that she has some like very quirky lines like that. Like in She You Up, there's a line that says, "I'm starting to feel just a little abused like a coffee machine in office." Like, coffee machine in office. Like, who would have even thought to make that metaphor, you know? Like, I love that. So now I'm going to talk about Maren Morris's album, Girl. And the lead single with that same name came out about a year ago. And since then, it's been a song that really helps me whenever I'm feeling anxious or like life's not going my way. And 2019 was mostly a productive year for me. I feel like since I graduated college, I've really grown into myself and dived more deep into my music and concentrating on my performing skills and songwriting. But this definitely was a song that helped me get through the bumps I did face along the way. That whenever I put it on, it's as if it rewires my brain into thinking in a positive way and prevents it from getting trapped in the dull and dark moments of life. So it's definitely a song that's very special to me. So I finally got around to listening to the full album a few months ago, and it's definitely been an album that I've really loved in the month of February. Something that I really enjoyed about this record is that the first half, I would say, is very self-reflective, but then the second half of the album is about love, but it's not in a way that's cheesy, as many love records tend to be. It carries some really strong themes of support and this idea of being loved for who you are and all your flaws, being accepted that way. That's something that really resonated with me, that I felt like this was a very real, grown-up, realistic portrayal of love and relationships. That I wasn't just talking about love on the surface level. I think it very much is talking about what makes relationships or long-lasting relationships strong. And that's something that I really found really special about this record. And I felt very connected to what Maren was singing or writing about for this record. And overall, it's an album that puts me in a very feel-good, high-energy state. So much so that even if I'm going through a rough time or having a bad day, when I listen to this record, it's kind of funny, but I'm able to act as if everything is okay. As if I feel supported, that I have someone guiding me along the way when things are difficult. And I really feel that this like extremely beautiful message is what the album boils down to. The main theme that Maren is trying to get across to the listener. So musically, it's not just a pop country album, as it plays with a lot of soul and R&B rhythms and sounds, especially on songs like RSVP, Shade, and Good Woman. Really that last chunk of the album. And also Girl. I think on Girl, there is like some bluesy, soulful R&B vibes there for sure, that shows her straying away from just the country genre for sure. That I feel like on her first album, She definitely played around with pop, but I feel like what I got out of this album was the more R&B and soul aspects to the songs. And this is shown not only in the songs themselves, but her vocals. And I feel like those more soulful styles of music really show off her voice more and her range. So if you want to listen to an album that I definitely sit down and listen to when I'm going through a tough time or having a bad day, I definitely 100% recommend Girl by Maren. So I have 2 more songs to share with you guys to wrap up the what I've been listening to section of this video. And the first one is Don't Play That Song by Aretha Franklin. And recently I've been really inspired by soul, blues, R&B, even a little bit of jazz in my own music and songwriting. I've always really loved Aretha Franklin. That I remember when she passed away, I have her was that her debut? Yeah, it was her first album with Atlantic, and I got it at a record store in Boston. But since I didn't have like a record player when I was in college there, I just got like the CD there. And going back to what I was talking about, when she passed away, I remember just driving around where I live and like blasting the CD with the windows down. I don't know if that's cheesy or weird. But I really love the emotions she shows on this song with her vocals through all the highs and lows throughout it, that I think she does a good job of showcasing the different areas of her voice, the different octaves, while still being emotional, because I think sometimes singers get a little carried away with that and forget to connect to the emotion of the song. One of my favorite things about the song is that the lyrics, especially in the chorus, are very nostalgic, as it talks about this song that brings her back to a heartbreak she had when she was a teenager. So now I'm filming the next day because my memory card ran out of space last night. Carrying on. And this month I've been listening a lot to this Aretha playlist I found on Apple Music. And that's one of the songs on it. So I've definitely been listening to it a lot. And I guess this last song isn't exactly the most pro-romance relationship song either. I didn't mean it to be that way, but that's kind of how this video is going, I guess, in the month of February for me. But this last one I'm going to be talking about is Love is a Losing Game by Amy Winehouse. And it's a song that I've been performing a lot and including in my live sets, that I actually have a cover of it. If you haven't seen it on my Instagram, you can go check it out there. But I've actually listened to Amy Winehouse since I was a kid. And I remember exactly where I was when I found out about her overdose, that I was in New York with my family and we were in this pizza shop that we had met up with a friend of my mom's that was also there. And I just remember her saying at one point, "Oh, do you guys listen to Amy Winehouse?" And she mentioned that she read online that about her overdose. It was just so sad. But anyways, when I started songwriting a few years ago, Love is a Losing Game is a song that I really admired from a lyrical and melodic standpoint, that it inspired me to incorporate 7th chords into my songs, because I definitely feel that it gives it more of a soulful, bluesy vibe. And I've always really loved how poetic the lyrics are, that they capture her emotion in a very metaphorical way. It's almost as if you knew Amy through her lyricism, but you could never catch all of her. You could never fully understand all of her, because even though it is very poetic, it doesn't give you like everything about her, or it's not detailed like the first songs I was talking about, where it's very specific in the details of this song. I think with Love is a Losing Game, the metaphor she uses throughout the song, and in general, just the poetic nature of the song, gives you an idea of what she was feeling, but not necessarily the exact facts or details of her life or of the heartbreak she was experiencing that led her to write that song. And my favorite lyric from Love is a Losing Game would be a part in the last stanza that goes like, over futile odds, I'm left it by the gods. And it just gives a very beautiful and haunting quality to the song that's really made it stick with me even after all these years. So I actually spent most of February preparing for my first paid gig. If you've kept up with me for a while, you might remember that I talked about my first actual gig. I think it was in a music update video a few years ago. But it was at a place called Article 24 in Brighton, Mass, right outside of Boston. But that one was just for tips. This time, I actually got paid apart from the tips, and luckily I did get some tips too. So I actually had to get my own equipment for this gig, so I ended up going out to a local music store and picked up a few things. So I'm just gonna share some of those with you today. So first up, I'm gonna talk about the Fishman Loudbox Mini. So I got this amp for $309 at a local music store near me, and I actually got that with a discount, but I looked it up online and it normally retails for $330, that I'm sure you can get it at a Guitar Center, or if there's any like small business music store near you guys. I really recommend it if you're just starting out and doing something small like a solo acoustic gig, because it is relatively inexpensive in comparison to some of the other amps or PA systems on the market. And it features all the basics of what you need for like a gig when you're just starting out, when it's just you and your guitar. Okay, so up next we have the Shure SM58 microphone, and I got this at the same place, and it was about $119, I believe. Isn't too ridiculously expensive, and from what I was told at the music store, it is kind of a standard for local music venues, so it's definitely a great choice if you're looking for quality in a microphone but don't want to go too far up in the price range. Yeah. So this last one is the JOBY HandyPod Mobile Lock. Whether you're just at an open mic or performing at a coffee shop, it can be hard to get a nice video of your performance if you want to post something on your social media, on your YouTube website. So the great thing about this is that it's like a little tripod, but for your phone. So it's definitely, since it's small, it's definitely great for taking on the go. And I definitely recommend it if you want to get better quality in your live performance videos. So in this last part of the video, I'm going to be talking about a few of my favorite singing essentials that I had a really bad sore throat the week before my gig, and this really helped me get through it. So first off, we have Cepacol, and these are great if you have like a really bad sore throat and you need to go away like quickly, like if you have a gig like me. But they're just like lozenges. I like them in the Arctic cherry flavor. I tried the honey once and it did not taste like honey. It was really bad. I don't recommend it. And then these ones I think I talked about in a really ratchet old video, but they're Grether's Pastilles for throat and voice. And I get the black currant, I believe, and the sugar-free version. But I heard a lot of good things about them online. So I ordered them off of Amazon one year. And they've been my favorite ever since. When I ordered it off of Amazon, it comes with this tiny tin can version of the large one you get in your order. And I usually keep it in my guitar case. That way, whenever I go to an open mic or have a gig, I have a few of them ready to go with me. So this very last item is Honey Garden's Propolis Spray. And it's just a natural throat spray. It says it has raw honey, licorice root, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, but usnea, whatever it is. Okay, so that's everything for today's video, finally. I know this was kind of long in comparison to my usual singing videos, so thank you if you've stuck around. I turned 23 on Tuesday, so I'm very excited for that. And yeah, hopefully 23 is just as good as 22 has been, or even better. So thank you. I love you guys. Thank you for leaving me lovely comments, and bye for now.